Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of CenterCourt Live. Sorry if you missed us last week. We had some issues where we couldn't be live and couldn't have a show, but we are here this week. With me, as always, we have Chris Berker and LeeRoy Eve. Gentlemen, welcome. Always a pleasure. Glad to have you guys back on.
Yes, sir.
It felt right not being on for a week.
Yeah, it did. My Saturday morning was missing something. I was missing a little something.
I went on Blab just to pretend I was on.
Oh, did you? You should have done a solo one.
Just had it open, just like, hey guys. All right, bye guys.
So we're going to start off with what we would have talked about last week, which is the deadline moves. There wasn't anything major this week that went on. It was pretty much a lackluster deadline. You saw a lot of teams freeing up cap space for the offseason, which, has Kevin Durant, Al Horford, Mike Conley. It has some marquee players that will be available. Any moves that stuck out to you guys?
The Markieff Morris one was good. I didn't think the Wizards were going to pick him up, but that's a good pickup for them. And, of course, Tobias Harris one was really good. I feel like it worked out for both teams.
Detroit got a good deal out of that. That helped Detroit a lot. They got another young core. Detroit's young. I mean,
I almost feel a little bad for Detroit, though, that they had to avoid the Monty Eunice trade, because I think that was a real good trade for them. Getting rid of a second-round pick and Joel Anthony, who hasn't played in 2 years, for Monty Eunice and Marcus Thornton.
Oh, there goes the Sixers MVP. So.
It just seems like that's the Rockets' MO. They're just a wreck. They're handing out players that aren't even healthy, and they lied about the medical report, right? Is that what they did? They said his back wasn't as bad.
Yeah, they said he was on recovering. He should be back soon. And then when Detroit did the medical, they were like, "This guy's not even close."
Yeah, that's just like the Rockets' MO right now. Everything's a shit show. Everything's a shit show in Houston.
Yeah, trying to buy out Ty Lawson, see if they can get him on waivers.
Listen, that's fine. Ty Lawson's a good player. I didn't think he was going to.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit, so we're going to hold off on that.
No, but I think that Detroit move's good. I don't know if maybe you should have got something else back with Tobias Harris, because not only Tobias Harris is better than Ilyasova. He gives you the same thing, but you also losing Brandon Jennings. You're losing shooting / point guard. You didn't get anything back for him.
Well, also Brandon Jennings on the expiring contract,
and they still have Reggie Jackson. So
and Jennings was likely going to walk at the end of the season anyways. So now you have Tobias Harris, who is signed for another 3 years. So you know what I'm saying? You got more time with the player than what you would have had with Jennings. And Ilyasova, that's a –
he's all right. He's a role player.
Yeah.
But I think
do you think Jennings stays in Magic?
No.
Orlando? No?
Because somebody's going to offer him
a better team will give him a max contract, because if they can't sign anybody else.
The Phoenix Suns, they like point guards, so maybe they'll go out and sign him too.
Even a team like the Nets might, who's gonna have max money options, who's gonna have a lot of salary cap room because they're not gonna have anybody, and they'll offer a guy who may not deserve max money, but they have the money to give him there to lure him there.
No. Don't see. You're thinking about the old Nets now. These aren't the Billy King Nets. This is the new era.
Yeah, they're trying to spend.
This is Sean Marks' era now, though. You got to think about it. He waived Bargnani within the first day of being there. This is not the same net. This isn't Billy King. I like the move to get rid of Bargnani. They're not going to go after Jennings. If they do, I don't see Sean Marks giving Brandon Jennings a shit ton of money.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying that's the ideal destination. I was just saying a team like the Nets that
the Knicks
might not be able to attract the most prominent free agents would offer a guy like Brandon Jennings max money because they can't get anybody else.
Right. I see a team like the Knicks too going after Brandon Jennings, to be honest.
Oh, please don't.
Please. The Knicks can take Ty Lawson too.
That's one of the destinations I want to. I tweeted that out yesterday. Ty Lawson to the Pacers of the Knicks.
But I think all the deadline moves, all the moves that were made were in reaction to the Warriors. They're all got 3-point shooting. Everybody that made a deal got a shooter.
I'm going to talk about the Cavs deal now to get Channing Frye. I love that move.
Fits in nice.
That offense, even though they lost last night, and I don't know if you guys saw my Vine, LeBron airballed the game-winning three.
Yeah, I know.
But
Toronto's giving him trouble.
But I like Jay Fry. I mean, he hurts them defensively because he can't play that. He doesn't play that much defense. He's just not that laterally quick. But that offense, they're going to score a lot of points now.
And who'd they give up for him?
They gave up nothing. They gave up
nothing.
Cunningham or something like that.
Yeah, Cunningham and maybe a draft pick.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, Orlando set themselves up good. They got another draft. They got a couple draft picks from these trades, and they got Jennings, who's going to be leaving.
But for a team like them, though, where they were like kind of fighting for a playoff spot, you're really going to get rid of like your best player?
Nah, who? Orlando?
Tobias Harris?
They were in a huge slump.
They still have Vucevic.
Yeah, but okay, so they started off really hot. We all know this. I don't want to be wrong in this stat because I'm pretty sure I wrote an article about this. After their hot start, to go into the All-Star break, they were 14-25. That roster just wasn't working, so they needed to change. I'm pretty sure it was 14-25 after their hot start.
And to be honest, I don't. Something about Alfred Payton, he's just not.
He can't score.
Yeah.
Great defensively.
He's
he
great
can
defensively,
ball, but he can't shoot.
He's a pure point guard, but he can't score at all.
He's a Rondo.
Rondo could probably outshoot him.
Yeah.
Rondo's getting a little better.
I see Rondo hit a lot
of shots getting there
this year. He's up there.
Hey, his 2K rating's going up.
Even OKC's move to get Foy is another 3-point shooting move.
I forgot about that. Was a good move. That was a solid.
I think it's a good move. I mean, especially since they found their backup point guard. What's his name? They got the rookie.
The Cameron Payne?
Cameron Payne, yeah. They figured him out. So Augustine wasn't getting a lot of minutes. You offload him, and you get a proven starter that can make threes, who's a career 40% three-point shooter.
I just like it. Foy is a bit of a gunner, though.
He is a bit of a gunner, but he's an upgrade from Dion Waiters.
But they still have Dion Waiters.
True.
He still gets minutes. So now you have two just shooters who, if they're cold, they're cold.
It's cold.
And that's been the issue as of late.
But you never see Dion Waiters as a consistent outside shooter, though. Foy is a good outside shooter.
That's fair, but I'm just talking in the sense of consistency.
Yeah.
They're kind of like J.R. Smith players in a sense. Like one night you're like, these guys are great scorers. And the other night you're like, how the hell are these guys getting 20 minutes a game?
Who would you have, Randy Foy or Waiters on your team if you had to choose?
I'd rather have Randy Foy.
Yeah, I'd have Foy.
I'm gonna get shot.
Something about Dion.
I'd rather have Dion.
Dion is.
I'd rather have Dion.
It's not.
I think it depends what you're looking for. If you're a team like OKC that doesn't need the guy to handle the ball and just is going to sit there and shoot threes, you're going to want Foy. If you're a team that kind of needs a second ball handler, needs somebody to maybe make some plays, you're probably going to want Dion.
I mean, for me, I look at Dion. I'm looking at age too, though.
Yeah,
Foy's in the middle, almost past his prime, right? He's in his 30s now, or is he just 30?
He's only getting older, and he's a career like 11 points a game.
Right. And Dion's only 24, 25.
He's still unproven. He really hasn't got a shot anywhere he's been. I mean, he had to sit in Cleveland behind some guys, not really getting the ball a lot. Now he's in OKC. He's not really getting the ball a lot.
I mean, Dion is pretty careless with the ball at times. But
hell yeah.
But he shows spark. The other night, he hit 3 straight shots against the Mavericks. I was watching the Thunder Mavericks game. He hit 3 straight shots. And, like, he had that, like, grit intensity on his face. Like, I want this. And I don't know.
But anything
he shows
the Foy move just gives him more depth. It gives him more shooting and a little more depth.
It helps them play small ball against teams like against the Warriors. Which is
I like the Jeff Green trade too.
Yeah, I forgot about that trade. That's a steal.
That's a steal. Yes, any team could use Jeff Green.
The steal. He's a guy that he can play the 3, but he's best at playing the stretch 4.
A lot of teams aren't high on him, though. A lot of people around the league. Like
he's another one of those inconsistent players, though. He's another one. You see flashes out of him, and you'll see him go for 30, and you'll be like, man, this guy's unstoppable. And then the next game, you'll see him go for, like 4 of 20 from the field, and he'll have like 8 points. And you're like, what?
What I can say is,
remember when he was on the Celtics?
Right. Well, that's what I'm about to say.
Goodness,
When he was on the Celtics, Doc Rivers was still the coach there for the first couple of years. So like there is that cohesiveness. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
They know each other. So and what was it called? Rivers said himself, he likes the attitude and the person of Jeff Green.
I want to think they fixed their need they most needed, which is a small forward. They haven't, since Chris Paul has been there, since this team has been, they haven't had a good small forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he's definitely an upgrade from Wesley Johnson.
He's an upgrade from Wesley Johnson. He's an upgrade from Paul Pierce at this point in his career.
Paul Pierce is definitely a better role player now.
And before this year, they had, Matt Barnes. He's an upgrade over Matt Barnes. Yeah. And they still have Luke Richard and Bahamute, who he's an upgrade over that too.
Not defensively, though.
No, not defensively, but he's a guy that can play stretch four, though.
Right.
You feel comfortable with it. So if you're going to play the Warriors and they're going to play Harrison Barnes or Iguodala at the four.
He helps them when Blake Griffin comes back. Then you have DeAndre.
When's he coming back?
Probably not for another month.
He's got his hand has to heal, and then he's got to serve 4 games once he's healed.
Right.
True.
We're looking at still.
That's not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair?
I mean, because he's injured, so I feel like maybe they can take the time out while he's injured.
That's not right. He beat a man. No.
The hand injury. His hand injury is his own fault, so it's not like.
Yeah, true. You're right.
You got to take your beating. He's got to take his beating from the league now. He gave a beating. Now he's got to take his beating.
It's not like he slipped and hit like his leg on the stanchion of like the arena and he damaged it, and they were like, "Oh man, you hurt our stanchions. Now we're going to suspend you 4 games for like breaking equipment." Like he punched a dude in the face. Like he broke his hand. And the guy had like head injuries. Like it wasn't like he just hit him. I mean, when you're 6'10" and weigh like 240, like you're probably gonna hurt somebody if you punch him in the face. Even if
Blake's done some crazy stuff.
Even if you don't know how to throw a punch, it's still gonna fucking hurt somebody.
Now, on the opposite end of that Jeff Green trade, or actually on the Jeff Green trade still, does that make the Clippers a contender now?
No.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Just make sure we're on the same page that they're still.
No.
I mean, Chris Paul went off.
There's still something when you watch that team. There's just something not right about them, and even with an addition like Jeff Green, it's still just something just not with that team is not right.
Yeah,
they literally have a starting 5, and then their bench could be a starting 5 somewhere.
Who? Clippers?
Like no joke. Yeah. Like they're like it's just I don't know. It's something.
Their bench 5 years ago might have been a starting 5 somewhere. But it's almost like all their bench players are like you got Paul Pierce and Bahamute, Jamal Crawford. You got all these guys that.
I think Jamal Crawford could start somewhere.
He could, but he's better coming off the bench.
He likes coming off the bench. It's been his thing. But the opposite side was the Lance Stevenson to Memphis. Memphis
just threw their season away.
Oh my God!
Yeah. It's almost like once they were undecisive about how long Gasol was going to be out, they're like, we can't sustain this, so let's just unload everything. That
team is now from head to toe a complete basket cake team. Like I'm scared.
Lance is having fun out there.
You got Matt Barnes, you got Lance Stevenson, you have Birdman.
Zebo can be a little ornery sometimes.
Chalmers,
even Chalmers at times can be a little aggressive. I mean, Jesus. But I mean,
Malice in Memphis.
I was hoping they were gonna buy out Lance, and I was hoping they were gonna buy out Lance because I had such a strong feeling because the Pacers made no moves at the All-Star break that Larry Bird would have picked up the phone and been like, Lance, I'll give you another shot if you want to come back to Indy.
He was so good there. I wish they never let him go.
I could have used him because Indy doesn't have a second ball handler.
Even if a second ball handler, I think he'd be an upgrade for a ball handler from George Hill.
Yes.
Well, no, Monte Ellis does a lot of the ball handling now.
You guys got to get rid of George Hill.
No, he's not. I mean,
he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good scorer. He's more of a shooting guard than he's a point guard, though.
He's been solid. He's been solid this year so far. He's been extremely solid.
No, he has been getting better though. I can't lie about that.
He's just not a point guard. And I'm hoping this offseason they go out and get a point guard, but there's not gonna. I just know they're not gonna.
He's one of those guys that because he's a point guard size, they want him to play point guard, but he's not in his mindset and his skills are not point guard skills.
Nope. Enough ball handling skills.
But I think the reason that you didn't see a lot of moves is because I was hearing something about since the cap is going up so much that teams weren't worried about unloading bad contracts or contracts that are expiring because the salary cap's going to go up so much at the end of the year, and that a lot of these players are going to be free agents. What's the point of trying to acquire them now and get rid of a bad contract? We're just going to have money in the offseason, especially for teams that if you're not the Warriors, Spurs, Cavs, or Thunder. You're really nobody's talking about you even having the snowball's chance in hell at winning the title. So teams weren't going to go and just make stupid trades and acquire bad contracts when they could just wait till the offseason and try to land, Durant or Westbrook or somebody like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of marquee players in this offseason.
I think that's why they're getting rid of players too, so they save some money up for those type of players.
A lot of the deals were all just contract deals. We saw a lot of teams just making moves to unload contracts, like Berger was just saying. So the big news the other day was Joe Johnson was bought out by the Brooklyn Nets, and he is going to Miami. That's front runner. That he's committed. No, he's committed to going to Miami.
Okay.
I was reading this morning. They were like he could go to Miami, but they weren't certain. So I'm not sure.
Oh, I saw something that was Bleacher Report reported that he had committed to signing with Miami and the deal would be worked out.
I don't know
over the weekend. I don't know how well he fits in with Miami because they kind of have been changing their pace to a more fast style, and I don't think Joe can run the court like that anymore. But they could use another scorer because that's been Miami's biggest issue this year. They have the best defense in the East, but they can't score.
And they're injured this whole season.
If you think about it, 3 years ago, Wade, Joe Johnson, and Bosh would have been a nice big three in the league.
Yeah.
Well, now you got Dang down. I think the biggest key for them making this move is they don't know if Bosh is going to be back.
Right.
So they need somebody to replace, the 17 points a game that Bosh gives you, or what I don't know what he's averaging this year, but something.
He's averaging 18, 19. Yeah. But now you go small, right? So I guess you have Dragic, Wade, Johnson, Dang, and then you have Whiteside. Well, Whiteside comes off the bench, so you'd have
they might run small. They could go Dragic, Wade, Johnson at 3, and put Dang at 4, and then run somebody at 5.
Yeah.
Who would run 5?
Whoever starts. I don't know who starts in front of Whiteside.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whiteside off the bench now. No, Haslem doesn't start. I don't know who starts for them actually. I know. I'm gonna look it up.
McRoberts?
Oh yeah, that might be who starts actually. Or he's actually their starting 4, maybe. Oh, Stoudemire, Amari.
Oh yeah, Amari. Forgot about him. Good old Amari.
Can you do me a favor, man? Can you give me a paper towel?
I missed that old Suns team. It was Amari, Joe Johnson.
It's not a bad roster, but if you're Joe Johnson and you have your pick, where you got the Cavs are trying to get you and other teams are trying to get you, maybe Miami is your number one choice.
That's what I'm thinking. I was reading LeBron said he knows that they want him to, so that'd be so nice if they picked him up.
Well, the Cavs were the biggest rumor, trying to get him through trades and stuff, but
yeah.
I don't think Joe wants to go there specifically for the reason that he's not going to be one of the main 3 options. He's going to be an afterthought type thing, and
True.
I think in his mindset, he still thinks he's good enough, and he's still certain nights proves that he's good enough to be a 1 or 2 option on certain teams. So I don't think he wants to go to take a diminished role where he's going to either maybe come off the bench or.
The first half of this year, though, when he was with the Nets, he wasn't very aggressive. He was extremely passive.
But the last part of the season, he's come alive.
It's kind of all right, I kind of want to get off this team. I need to show teams that I do have a little in the tank. And to be honest, he's hit a couple buzzer beaters this last down the stretch. His crossover is still one of the best in the league.
Right, yes.
He's got some good handles.
Late in game, he's a closer. Late in games, he's almost like one of Paul Pierce sometimes, where he could have a terrible game, but when it's the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, ISO him near the elbow, and he's going to make the shot. It doesn't matter who's on him; he'll make it.
Big shot.
To be honest, if he went to the Cavs, just saying, I feel like they would maybe put J.R. Smith back on the bench and have Joe start. To be honest.
But Joe's he's a good ball handler, so
Yeah.
you might want him to run the second unit.
True.
That might not be a role he wants to run, and it's just why Miami might be the front runner in the race.
And LeeRoy, you can kill that idea because he's not going to.
It's fine.
No.
I want Joe to be on a better team anyway.
You're holding on to that hope that he's going to.
Nah, I'm good. I'll take Channing Frye.
I mean,
I'm fine with that.
The best chance they had was to trade for him.
Yeah,
but the Nets made the mistake of before the trade deadline.
It came out that he might have been bought out.
There's rumors of Joe Johnson potentially being bought out and being on waivers. So now, why is any team going to make a trade offer to you when you know he's going to be on waivers in a couple weeks?
Right.
Now he's got to get through waivers, and hopefully a team that has a worse record than he doesn't want to claim him, because I'm pretty sure that's how waivers works. But
do you think the Nets keep Brook too, or no?
They're not going to waiver. No, they're going to keep Brook. Brook's
not
good.
Waiver him, but yeah, he is.
They'll keep Brook,
but he's always in trade conversations.
Well, he's their highest asset.
There's one thing that I have heard about Brook, though, is that some people around the organization and around the league are kind of like, he's been such a good player for you for so long. He's never complained. You've given him a different coach every year he's played. He's on a terrible team every year, and this guy plays. He's always mentioned in trade rumors just do this guy a favor and get him out of a terrible organization and get him to a team where he might actually be able to contribute to something, because he deserves a little better than what the Nets have put around him.
True. I mean,
how long is his contract?
He signed an extension. He's there for he's there. He's gonna be there past his prime now. He signed a 5-year deal.
Damn.
Him and Thad Young signed 5-year deals in the offseason, or 4 and 5-year deals.
Thad Young, he was another guy that was getting some rumors out there around the block, but another contract I don't think teams wanted to pick up right now with, big free agents coming out in the next season.
That leads to Ty Lawson, another guy who was in a lot of trade rumors. And then the Jazz actually were close to getting him. And then when that buyout rumor came out, the Jazz also cut ties with their negotiations. Why are you going to trade for a player who's going to get bought out? And then the Rockets said, we're not buying out Ty Lawson. And then, of course,
it comes out again 3 days later.
You get the report that Ty Lawson will most likely, in fact, be bought out. And he's an interesting guy. I just don't think he fit in with the Rockets. I think they were just trying to get another superstar elite player on that roster. But he can still play. He plays solid defense. I think
he could be a good team, a teammate, for a team that needs that can use depth.
He has to be the main ball handler, and that's the problem with the Rockets.
Right.
Ty Lawson is a point. He's a point guard. He's a good distributor. He makes plays. He can also score, but that's what James Harden does. And people when he signed there didn't like that to begin with, because they didn't know how they would be able to play together, because they both want to do the same thing. They both want to have the ball in their hands. They want to attack. They want to drive. And it was just kind of like like Corey said, you're adding another player that you think is an all-star caliber player just to get another all-star caliber player on your roster.
True.
It doesn't work when you have a guy that plays 35 minutes a game that has a ball in his hand 90% of the time, and you're bringing in a guy that likes to do the same thing.
Right. Which is why I think on the Pacers he'd be a good fit, because they need a ball handler. On the Knicks, I think he wouldn't be a bad fit, but then I don't know if he runs the triangle or if he fits that system, so then he probably doesn't fit because
I think you have to find a team that runs more up tempo, because that's when he was in Denver and he was at his best. They were up tempo, up and down. There's not a lot of teams that do it as much anymore. Besides, I'm
trying to think about teams that need a point guard.
A starting point guard? Yeah, there's not a lot of teams.
There's a lot. There's a couple teams that can use a starting point guard.
Utah could use him still.
I just feel like he would add so much depth to a team if he said, "All right."
I can see Dallas going after him. Maybe.
Who's their starting point guard right now?
Darren Williams. Devin and then Raymond Felton's their backup.
They have a lot of point guards too. That team is actually nice. I don't know why they're just not.
They're
amazing.
They're old.
I know, but I like them. I like that team.
They're solid.
You like them on paper, but they just can't.
On paper, yeah. It's looking nice.
They won last night. Beat the Nuggets, I think.
No, they're still good. I mean, but they look a lot better on paper than they do when you see them in person.
No, you're right. I like Devin Harris, too.
I mean, because, a paper roster in front of you doesn't have a fatigue factor on it.
But, I definitely see him going some. I mean, maybe even the Nets scoop up Ty Lawson for the future.
It's who knows. I mean, it could be depending on what – I'm not sure what the buyout rules are when you sign somebody off of that, but if you don't have to sign him for a contract or take on his existing contract, it's almost like a tryout for a certain team if you want to bring him in for the second half of the season and start the last 20 games and see what happens with him.
Right.
That's true.
So it's for a team like, the Knicks, who we don't have a point guard right now. If he's willing to come, bring him in for, give him a little tryout for the last part of the season because we're not going anywhere anyway. See what happens. If you like what he brings to you and he can run the offense, then you might give him a contract in the offseason.
But Berger, he'll take away from Jimmer.
Listen, it's fine.
Listen,
Jimmer's not going to play.
He's not even going to – I don't understand what the point of signing a 10-day contract is and bringing the guy up if you're not going to sit him. The guy sat on the bench for 3 games and hasn't even seen the court.
Because I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. They brought Jimmer in for the pure excitement of bringing Jimmer in. Like, not for him playing.
But what excitement is it?
The word of mouth excitement. Like, oh, my God, they got Jimmer for debt.
But it's Jimmer.
No,
it's not like Seth Curry.
Jimmer.
Jimmer. He's got hype.
I don't know.
No.
I know he's had hype because he was nice in the D League.
No,
but
and
still,
he was nice
he's
in
nice.
college.
Give the man a chance.
They were doing stuff on the other day. Like, what other guy that hasn't done anything for the first 5 years of his career when you hear him coming from the D League would get that much hype?
No, you're right.
Nobody. It's Jimmer.
Right. They're
But-
selling seats right now. He's helping them sell seats. Now you're like, let's go to the Knicks game, bro. They got Jimmer, Porzingis, and Melo. And Jimmer doesn't even touch the court. And you're like, oh, well, they still got Jimmer.
But, you're still giving Sasha Vujacic minutes, and Jimmer is sitting over on the bench just like.
Sasha Vujacic.
But
he had his time. Sasha had his time.
at least Sasha plays a little defense. Jimmer Fredette looks lost. He's lost in the
That's been his
lost.
problem.
Who cares?
Just throw the janitor out there. Who cares? Maybe he's got a nice
If this
jumper.
guy can put the ball in the basket, it's an upgrade over any other point guard we've had on the roster.
Listen,
I mean,
if the janitor had a nice jumper, the Knicks should give him a 10-day contract. That's all I'm saying.
But they did the same thing with Antetokounmpo earlier in the year. They brought him up from the D League, gave him a 10-day contract. He didn't see the court. I understand.
Then what's the point of these contracts?
You have a 15-man roster for a reason. You only get to suit 12. So if somebody's hurt or something, then you bring one of those guys that's not dressed in. So what's the point of bringing somebody up and getting another contract on the salary cap if you're not going to play them when you already have guys at your disposal?
it's tough. It's annoying watching that as a fan.
It is.
It's just stupid to me. Why would you sign a guy for a 10-day contract and not even give him a little tryout? Let him play in the pros. See what happens. Especially Jimmer, who hasn't been in the pros for 3 years or however long it's been. See what he's got.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose at this point.
I mean, he had a 3 in the first game he's played in too.
It's the Knicks.
I mean, it's the D League, but I've seen a couple of the D League games, and he's improved his game a little bit. He's a much better ball handler. He's a better distributor. He's making plays.
There's a couple of good players in the
It's
D
the
League.
defensive end, which is the issue.
You telling me he's worse at defense than Calderon?
Probably not. But
For sure, he's quicker than Calderon too.
I would hope so.
you can tell.
I'd say.
So next, Steph Curry. Man or myth these days?
Man or myth?
Dude, I think there's
unreal.
somebody he's a robot. There's a chip in his brain or something. And he's just getting controlled by a controller.
He's the first ever 2K character extracted from the game and put into the league.
Yeah,
Game
he's like a
slash
hologram.
turned on. I swear to you. The other night when he hit that,
That's the same thing about Durant and LeBron too.
no, not like this.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
LeeRoy,
Definitely.
He's sitting half court with his feet planted, draining threes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean,
Because his range is ridiculous.
if you look at some of the seasons, the great seasons of individual players, Steph is this season might go down as the greatest individual season by a player. if you look at like player efficiency rating, Steph is breaking the all-time record for player efficiency rating in a season. And like the top 5 before this have all been big men.
True.
It's like Wilt, Kareem, Wilt again. Like it's all big men because you're so close to the basket and you're having high percentage shots. I mean,
I don't know. Like I told Corey this too.
60% in the paint and 46 from 3.
I don't know. I told Corey, like, I was like, Steph's been in the league for a little bit though. Like he's just getting good. Like I saw, like he's good, but he's like, think about it. Like how long have you like, oh, Steph, Steph. It's been like, I don't know.
He's 27 though. You're not. You got to think about it too.
I know.
Like, Kevin Durant's 27 as well, or 28.
I think so. 28.
They're hitting their prime.
I know that's the prime. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm just like people are just like he's hitting his prime.
The most impressive thing about Steph is that coming out of college, teams passed on him because they said he couldn't create his own shot at the pro level. They said he's not a good enough ball handler. He's too small. He's too this. He's too that. Well, now this guy's the best shooter off the dribble that you've ever seen in the NBA. And
that's true.
Let's think about this as well. He's averaging 30 points a game. He hasn't played in 14 fourth quarters this season.
It's not like he's just so efficient at what he does. Right. It's unbelievable to see a guy that takes mostly jump shots be that efficient.
And through most of those 3 quarters, he's averaging still like 30 points a game. Like like the other night, he could have finished that Orlando game with like 33 points through 3. Or 37 points through 3. And Kerr was like, nah, go out there and get your 50.
I mean, that game, he had 51. 30 of his points came from 3. He was 10 of 15 or 11 of 15 from 3. Like you don't see that. Like that's like you don't see a guy that takes that many threes hit 46% of his threes.
That the Miami game, he hit that buzzer beater in the first quarter, and he's literally at the Miami Heat icon all the way to the left side of the court. And his feet are planted, and he just spots
because he practices those shots.
Yeah,
but he practices those shots.
He practices them, but still no one hits him with that far. You can practice that.
Think about it.
No.
He does it before every game.
You can practice that shot all you want. You're not gonna shoot 39% from that distance.
But he does it before every game.
You're a Steph Curry hater. You are.
No, I'm not. Yes, I like him.
LeBron takes those shots before every game too, and then he can't even hit a 3 from the line.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I mean, it's just too much on a dude's dick, even on the smallest stuff.
It's every game though that he's hitting a shot from 10 feet beyond the 3-point line. Like, you just don't like, and some of them are buzzer beaters. When some of them, he's just straight pulling up from 5 to 6 feet behind the line and just taking a shot through the flow of play.
I'm feeling this.
To be honest, like his form on some of the shots are just kind of whatever.
He's got such a simple motion. He's got such a quick release that he can repeat that motion anytime he wants because it's so simple and it's so like fundamentally sound that he just gets the shot off so quick and with such balance that it doesn't matter where he is or who's on him. He's going to get the shot off.
He's insane. Is he good or bad for basketball, though?
I think he's great.
He's just another great player that's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's breaking records. That's what basketball needs.
I mean, but look at
just a bunch of just.
Look at all of the best like legendary players that we've ever seen in the game. There's been a lot of good point guards, but what are their size? Steph is a little guy that's breaking records. He's like there, like. You said Magic Johnson. He was 6'8". He was a big dude. Like he's not small. Then you got like Kobe, LeBron, Wilt, Bill, Kareem. All these guys, all like the best players that you talk about are all big. And I'm pretty sure even Oscar Robertson, when he was a big point guard, he's probably like 6'5", 6'6". Steph, you got to remember, Steph is like 6 foot and like $180 doing this. Like this isn't a big guy. This is a small dude playing with guys that are bigger, faster, and more athletic than we've ever seen before. Now, the rules have changed a lot where you can't be physical with a guy like him, but, I mean, that's just how the NBA is now.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing about guys from the 90s. They all say we would have beat the shit out of the Warriors because they wouldn't have.
Yeah, for sure.
He's easy.
Yeah, no.
But also,
you think You think those bad boys Pistons would have let that happen?
No, they had
Hell no.
No, they would have had rules for him like the MJ rules. Anytime you come in the paint, you put the elbow in his rib cage.
But the issue is too, though, those '90s team, they never faced shooters like this.
No,
that's why it's hard.
A big deal,
right? And
I just feel like back then it's like I don't know, like every team had like a big three though back then.
But you faced
talent.
You look at that though, like the best 3-point shooters of all, like before Steph were like, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Jason Kidd. If you look at their career 3-point numbers, the most like 3-point field goals in a career was like 1,800.
Yeah.
And for a career, that's like I don't even think Reggie Miller has that many. Reggie Miller's like 1,200, and he was like the best 3-point shooter anybody had ever seen. Steph is at Steph's pace right now. He could break that in 4 years flat.
Well, he's already like 5 threes away from breaking his last season record for threes in the season. We still got 20 games left.
Oh, he's gonna do like it's gonna be like a Pete Rose, where like he's just gonna have so many threes that no one's gonna ever really beat that like hits and like Pete Rose's hits wise. So like I don't know.
I mean, you look at the next best shooter of the generation, 3-point shooter. It's probably his teammate. And
Clay.
Clay's not even close to touching the amount of threes that Steph has.
Yeah.
I think Clay's got like 175 and Steph's got like 250 or whatever.
It's just the efficiency, man. Night in and night out. This guy's just hitting 5, 6 threes every single night.
Not just that. The game they played the Hawks, Curry was like 0 for 8 from 3 late in the game. It was a close game. Like they had like a 20-point lead and the Hawks came back and tied going into the fourth. And Curry's in the corner next to the Hawks bench. I don't know if you guys saw this.
The shimmy.
And he drains the 3. First 3 of the game after missing 8. And he does like the shimmy. And it's just kind of like another thing. Like this dude's confidence.
It's like gotcha.
Is at something else. Like he is so confident.
The whole thing. All right. The one thing I do like about him though is those when he shoots it and it just runs down the court before it even goes in.
Halfway there.
He
just turns around, and runs down the court. He knows it's in.
That's ridiculous.
The shot that you're talking about against the Hawks, he turned around and started shimmying before the ball went in.
Yeah,
it was a catch, shoot, fadeaway, off balance, falling out of bounds with somebody in his face. And as soon as he released it, he knew. He turned around, did a little shimmy, and started walking down the court. Like
it's ridiculous.
There's no way that you should know that's in with that difficult of a shot.
And playing against him, it must piss you off because he's always smiling now. It's like when you play. No, it reminds me of I never watched Magic play, but it reminds me of the stories about Magic. Players would be like, Magic was a pain in the ass because not only would he kick your ass, but he'd be smiling with that huge ass grin the whole time. And you're just like, stop smiling and kicking my ass. And Curry's the same way at this point.
It'd be like you look at him and he's happy-go-lucky, and then he just has that killer instinct with
We saw the killer instinct last year in the finals. There's a couple times where Curry flexed up and yelled.
How do you beat him then?
How do you beat who? Curry and the Warriors or just Curry?
The Warriors.
The only way to beat the Warriors, to be honest, is you run them off the 3-point line. I still think that's the only way you beat them.
They just shoot farther away.
Clay and Steph are the only ones that really extend the range to that point. Because, corner threes, you can't run somebody behind a corner 3. So there's really only the top of the key. And how many guys are really comfortable shooting from the top of the key and taking a couple steps out? Because that's a deep shot. That's, it's not – there's a reason a lot of guys are good from the corners and not the top of the key because it's a farther shot.
Right.
And Steph and Clay are 2 of maybe 5 guys that are comfortable 2 or 3 feet behind that line taking shots.
What makes them deadly too, Miami the other night, I don't know if you guys probably didn't watch it, it was on League Pass, but I watched the Miami Warrior game. And Miami was doing good through the start, but
I watched
they combined for 75.
The pick and roll, the Warriors pick and roll it's filthy. There's a couple the last play of the game.
We didn't even talk about it. What did you guys think about Anderson Varejao going to the Warriors?
I don't understand it. I honestly don't get it. But
I didn't get it either. I kind of liked him when he went to Portland, right? Like that's where he got
he's always been in the Cavs.
Yeah, he got traded to Portland.
He got traded to Portland. They waived him right away.
I mean,
I don't know.
He's okay. He gets them rebounding.
Think he's a good fit. I honestly, I don't understand.
I don't think. No, he doesn't fit.
The other night I was watching. He played the other night.
Yeah, Bogut and Spates
against the Heat, and he had 3 quick fouls, and he looked a little bit lost. I mean,
that's the only thing I can think of is to come in and get some fouls and maybe a couple rebounds. But Festus Ezeli is a better fit, and
they have 4 big men now.
They don't use.
Yeah,
he could have he could have stayed on Portland.
Portland doesn't want him. They're. I'm sorry, Lillard's running that team, and I'm sure Lillard said, "I don't want Varejao."
True.
Their big men right now on that team are so well fit for what they do. They don't need a guy like Varejao.
Yeah, Mason is nice.
He's perfect. He's perfect for him. He rebounds, he blocks shots, and he goes and catches alley-oops. And that's all you need when you play pick and roll.
He has improved a lot too. His ball handling.
They were showing something the other day. When he has 5 rebounds and 5 assists, they haven't lost a game all season.
Yeah,
they're like 13-0.
That team is nice.
That Lillard time. That's all I'm saying. It's just that Lillard time.
All right. It's just
you froze it.
They don't give enough love. They don't give enough love.
Lillard?
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you were like,
teams like that. Honestly, their players don't get a lot of love because it's the West. It's the effect of being on the West Coast and being up in Portland. Like nobody cares about you because you're up in Portland. And second of all, when your games are on TV, if they're on at for us at the East Coast, they're on at 10:30, 11 o'clock game. Like, are you staying up and watching that? No.
But still, like I feel like what Damian Lillard brings to the table. Why is he still getting snubbed from All-Stars?
Because the West is just loaded with guards.
But still.
No, okay, LeeRoy, you're making the argument for Lillard. Whose spot would he have taken this year on the West?
Who was on the West? I don't remember. Kyle Lowry, Westbrook.
That's
Curry.
not the West. Lowry's in the
East.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, Curry, Westbrook,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul just gets voted in now.
Chris Paul's like the best pure point guard in the NBA.
I know.
He averages
he had 40 points last night, and like 15 assists and 4 rebounds and 3 steals.
I like Chris Paul, but I feel it's diminishing a little bit.
Don't disrespect Steve.
I like Chris Paul.
You just disrespected him as if he shouldn't be. As if he doesn't deserve an All-Star spot.
The nice thing about Chris Paul is he's a pure point guard. He's a pass-first point guard.
You're right.
But if he wants to score, he can score.
Yeah.
He just chooses not to.
I guess you're right. Score
he is the from the elbows, from like that mid-range. He's the best pull-up mid-range jump shooter in the league. And when he comes off that pick and roll and he just pulls up in that mid range, he's money every single time. He could probably score every single time on the floor with that move.
And he invented the teardrop for the most part. Like his teardrop for a couple years was
him and Tony Parker.
It was ridiculous.
Tony was so nice. His teardrop was nice.
So I guess we should just segue now into the hot game of the night. Warriors Thunder.
How hot is it?
It's pretty hot. It's okay. It's not hot.
Like if I touch the TV and flip it on that channel with a remote,
I probably wouldn't advise you not to touch TV. Might catch one.
All right, yeah.
I mean, you might catch some of the heat coming off Westbrook's head when he's like all fucking pissed off.
I mean, after. I feel like this is a must-win game for the Thunder because they've been playing so poorly.
I just like you guys watched the last game, right? When it was on TV.
Yeah.
I just like when they played them. They were down by 14 points, and then they came back and played them really good. And I remember the last seconds, they won, but then they put the camera on Durant, and he's just like, okay, we see what we can do with them. We could play with them.
I saw that.
Yeah. I still think if the Warriors had to play the Thunder in a 7-game series, I think that would be a really great series.
But do the Thunder win?
Nothing we get to.
I don't know. Maybe 3.
I don't I'm so against isolation basketball these days that a team that has two players and all they do is ISO for 70% of your offensive possession.
It just slows up the tempo. You're just like, all right.
There's no flow to that type of offense.
Right.
And that's the problem. There's absolutely no flow. It's come down the court. If Westbrook feels it, he's going to take the shot. If not, he dishes to Durant, and Durant's going to take the shot. There's no set plays. There's no getting the team involved. There's no, they don't run sets. There's nothing. It's a two-man game, and if they happen to not like a shot, then they'll dish it to somebody, and it's like, oh, shit, I caught the ball, and that's why, the role players aren't having great years this year. Ibaka's
that's the Cavs' problem, too.
Ibaka's offense is down. Dion Waiters, again, doesn't get the ball enough to show consistency or get any rhythm. I don't know if Foy's going to be able to do that. When you look at guys that aren't having great years, it's not always they're not having great years. It's, when these guys have the ball 90% of the time in their hands and they're just dishing it to you, you're surprised when you get it. And it's just like, when you only get 5, 6, 7 shots a game, it's hard to develop a rhythm.
That's my issue with. That's why I think the bench for the Thunder struggles so much. Excuse me, they don't get consistent touches. It doesn't get a flow in an NBA game consistently if you don't get touches. I mean, Enes Kanter, he gets a decent amount of touches, but he also gets a lot of rebounds down low, like offensive rebounds. And they're putbacks.
Apparently, he's got like a 3 now too. He's working on his shot.
He gets a lot of those. He gets a lot of when Westbrook or Durant drives and 2 or 3 guys collapse on him, and you just, oh, hey, look, I'm wide open to the basket. I just have to catch it and dunk it, or catch it and put a layup in, or hit a little baby hook, I
mean, I don't I want to say the Thunder win tonight, but then they lost by 20 to the Cavs. They lost to Indiana at home. They lost to the Pelicans the other night. They've taken some rough losses that, in essence, they should have won. They shouldn't have lost to the
Pelicans.
Yeah. Anthony Davis went off.
Whoa, yeah, you're right. All right, well, if someone goes off, what are you going to do?
Yeah, but
it wasn't that game. He had 51. He had 51 the next night. But
he had 59 against the Pistons.
The Pelicans, they had a good team game that game. Anthony Davis had a good game.
Well, let's think about it. Had a good game. If any team comes out and it's on all cylinders, a team can beat someone.
But still,
even a team like the Warriors.
Were they home too, though? Was OKC home?
No, not in the Pelicans game.
Oh, but still, they lost to the Cavs and the Pacers at home.
Yeah, but it's almost like they're a team where if they don't get up for the game, they're not going to win.
And no, it's not that. Against the Pelicans game, Durant and Westbrook had 75 points combined.
Well, that's because it is Westbrook and Durant's team. The rest of the team is just okay.
They can't.
Who else are you gonna give it to?
I saw a stat that they're 3-14 when both Kevin Durant and Westbrook
over
have
30.
more than 30. Yeah, they're
25. I think it's over 25.
Oh no, it's one. If one of them has over 25 and the other one has over 30. That they're
when they both have over 25 points, they're 3-14.
Right.
When one of them has over 25 and the other one doesn't, or they both have below 25, they're much better.
You're lagging.
Who, me?
No, Burger. I didn't hear what Burger said.
Oh, my bad. No, I just feel like Durant and Westbrook need to give the ball up a little more.
They're not going to, though.
Yeah, they're not going to, but still, that's what they need. People need to get involved
because of the quality shots that they can get every possession down the floor. Because Durant, with his size and his ability, he can get any shot he wants whenever he wants. Westbrook, with his speed, his quickness, and his strength, can get whatever shot he wants anytime they want. So, and you can be efficient. They don't need to take 30 shots a night. Give it up early in the game. See if your teammates are feeling it. See if you can get somebody hot real quick. And if not, then maybe you chuck up 30 shots. But, they can be so efficient. They can both shoot over 50% from the floor. They only need to take, 20, maybe 25 shots. They don't need to take 30, 35 shots a game.
What did they do that season they went to the finals?
I shot 37 times each.
37 times each.
But they had Harden off the bench, which helped, and then they had Ibaka, too. So they had a consistent scorer who now
Harden wasn't started?
No.
Who started? Thabo Sefolosha.
Yeah. So they wanted defense first.
Another reason they played better back then is they played defense. They're not playing any defense this year. Their defense is horrendous.
That was a good team back then.
The player he was, they're not defending.
The last time the Warriors and Thunder matched up, though, Curry didn't have a good game because Russell Westbrook played solid D on him for the most part, and actually a lot of the stretches actually they had Durant on Curry because of the length of Durant. I mean, Curry ended up still finishing with like 25 plus.
I think it's going to be a good game.
It's like a similar problem to like, when you have good individual defenders, it doesn't mean you're a good defensive team.
Right.
You could lock down one or two guys, and because your team is so dependent on you to lock down your guys, they don't focus as much as they should on the other players, especially when there's a dynamic player on the other end of the floor. You're so focused on stopping him, you forget your responsibilities, and you leave guys wide open.
Right.
And, that's what a problem with, like, when the Knicks this year, but they were going to be defensive because they burned Brook Lopez, Aflalo, good individual defenders. The rest of the team is still terrible at defense. They don't know how to play team defense, so it doesn't matter. You could have good individual defenders, but if your team doesn't have a good defensive concept, you ain't going to play good defense.
Right. It's Robin Lopez. But
they can have Brook too.
The one thing I can say is the Thunder do have Robertson back now. He's their defensive shooting guard, so maybe he matches up against Clay better tonight. I mean,
you know who I wish would step up more? Anthony Morrow.
He don't get touches. It's the same thing.
He's another guy that he's just a 3-point shooter. He's never done anything else. He's like a poor man's touches. Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
he's a great 3-point shooter, but he's not as consistent as Korver.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And he's not as quick as Korver. When you watch him run around screens, he's not, he doesn't put the ball on the floor. He's terrible on defense.
So I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna say because of the Thunder's recent struggles, they're gonna get up for tonight's game.
Who'd they just play? What was their last game?
Pelicans. They lost.
When was it?
2 nights ago.
So they have time off.
I'm gonna say they get up. I'm gonna say they get up for this game. I'm gonna say the Thunder. The Thunder are home too. I'm gonna say the Thunder win.
I picked the Thunder last time, so I'm with the Warriors.
Every time Curry takes a three and makes it, it's a shot. Cool. You gotta take a shot. Corey will die.
I don't know. It's one of those games where you're hoping OKC. I mean, they showed up for the most part in the last game, but
they definitely did.
I think they just rely too much on Westbrook and Durant. Somebody else is going to have a good game, like an Ibaka. So they're going to need some help, and they're going to need they're going to need Steph or Clay or both of them to go cold, and some of the other guys to go cold because it's not only just Steph and Clay. Like, they're so deep.
Right, because they got Draymond, they got Iggy, they got
Steph and Clay go for like 20 and, they combine for like 45, 50 a night almost every night. But they're also getting like 5, 6, 7, 8 points from everybody else.
Dude with the afro, the mini afro. The small, and he has a goatee. I can't think of his name. Livingston? He broke his leg a couple years ago. Yes, Livingston is actually he's still decent.
No, he's solid. He's great with that. He's great for that team. He's great.
He's a matchup nightmare. Is his problem.
His little 6'8". Yes,
because he's a point guard, but he's 6'8".
It's ridiculous.
That team is scary. I mean, I'm staying with my pick. I picked the Thunder. Burger, you're picking the Warriors.
Thunder.
All right, so we'll have to check in on this next week. Well, next week too, on Thursday, they play again. Thunder Warriors, but they're at Oracle. So
I mean, I don't. I think they're gonna split 1-1 this week. I don't know which game, but I don't think the Warriors take both. I don't think either team's gonna take both. I think they're each gonna go 1-1.
I'm gonna make the call right now that the Thunder take both.
Damn.
I'm saying it right now. Thunder take both.
What's the Thunder schedule for the rest of the week?
All right. You're asking me a lot of questions now.
Hey, you're a sports writer. You should know all these questions.
I don't cover the Thunder.
You cover the Sixers. Kill yourself.
They got a new training facility. Big deal.
There's nothing positive you can say about the Sixers.
I mean, I don't think the schedule really plays into it as much as like.
And it depends because like the Cavs, you could say that about the Cavs too, but they played whack against the last when they lost that one time.
Back to back, you could put a little bit on it, but
yeah,
if they have at least a day off, it shouldn't be a big deal.
All right, so Monday they play the Kings.
Should be a decent game.
So I gotta scroll down. Monday they play the Kings. It's back to back. They play Wednesday against the Clippers.
Ooh, that's a terrible.
And then Thursday against the Warriors. That's awful.
That's horrible. Well, what are the Warriors looking like then?
Let me find that out. One thing I can say about that is at least there's no travel because they're in California already. But still, they're now I changed my thought now. They're gonna split those games. They can't win both.
Because they're gonna get up for the Clippers too.
Right. That's tough.
Well, to be honest, if they win tonight, they might just ride the wave and just keep it going.
Oh man. And the Clippers, not the Clippers, the Warriors, they get they're set. They play Thunder tonight, Tuesday the Hawks, then Thunder on Thursday.
Oh.
that ain't fair.
I swear,
that ain't fair, man.
This is the season. It's not fair.
Well, their schedule in the early part of the season was fairly easy. They have all their tough games in the second half of the season, but if all their tough games are teams coming off back-to-backs, that's not.
Wait a minute, guys. Let me
who makes these schedules?
Wait a minute. Let me give you the Warriors' schedule for the next 2 weeks. They play the Thunder tonight, right? Hawks Tuesday, Thunder Thursday. Then they don't play till Sunday, which is the Lakers. And then Magic Monday, Jazz Wednesday, Portland Friday, which they're going to get up for because Portland embarrassed them. And then Suns Saturday, Pelicans Monday, Knicks Wednesday. Like, oh my God.
Why do they have? Who makes these schedules?
Well,
I swear they had the lightest schedule.
It's not. It's light, but like for the next week to a week and a half, it's kind of like there's games every 3 days. But then the last stretch though, that last week and a half, they have a game every other day.
Yeah.
For a straight week.
But the only team in there that's scary is Portland.
Yeah, but it's almost like what happened to them with the Bucks earlier in the season when they got their first loss. When you're playing a game every other day and you're not getting that rest, you get tired legs.
Oh, wait, listen to this. This is a tough stretch they have, too. March 19th, they play the Spurs. Then the 21st, they play the Timberwolves. 23rd, they play the Clippers. 25th, they play the Mavericks. Yeah, they have a game every 2 days end of the season, pretty much.
Yeah, and all the Western Conference teams that are in the playoff run are all in this last stretch of the season.
Okay, wait a minute. This is their April schedule. They have Celtics April 1st, Portland April 3rd, Timberwolves April 5th, Spurs April 7th, Grizzlies April 9th, Spurs April 10th, Grizzlies April 13th. I'm not going to lie.
That's rough to end the season.
That's a tough schedule to end the season on. Celtics are solid. The Grizzlies aren't good anymore, but
they're physical.
Right.
They're physical. They're going to beat you up.
And you have to play the Spurs in between the Grizzlies?
Lance Stevenson's going to go off.
Off of that point, when you see how tough the schedule is down the road, are they breaking the Bulls' record?
I don't want them to. I know people hate when people say records are meant to be broken, but I don't want this team to beat the record.
No.
I don't want this. I want to see LeBron break it. To be honest, I don't want to see Curry and the Warriors break it.
I don't want to see a 3-point shooting team break the record. That's all I'm saying.
You just don't want to see a team that has Andrew Bogut at the starting five break that record.
Oh my God, Andrew Bogut! I fucking hate Andrew Bogut.
But is it only right for that to happen since Steve Kerr's the coach?
I guess.
I'm not sure if Steve Kerr was on the roster that set the record, but
all right. I had this conversation with someone. last week, and I was going to bring it up during the podcast, but we didn't have it. Like, we're talking about coaches that don't have jobs right now.
Yeah.
Like Mark Jackson and like Thibodeau and everyone.
Yeah.
We're talking about people that would come in for like a Knicks coach, and they would say that Thibodeau. So he tried to tell me this Thibodeau would be a great fit for the Knicks.
Thibodeau's not going to be a great fit if he doesn't agree to run the triangle.
That's what I'm saying. I tried to tell him.
If he doesn't agree to run the triangle, Phil will not hire him.
But then this person was trying to tell me like Mark Jackson was not a good coach.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
That's what I'm saying. He was trying to tell me that the Warriors were good before Mark Jackson, and they were
better. Terrible.
They were nothing with Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
That's what
But the locker room didn't. The players didn't like Mark Jackson.
I was trying to tell him. I told him. I
was
like,
his aunt?
No. Our other friend. No, Ant knows basketball. He knows. Okay. But we were just saying that like I was trying to tell him Mark Jackson like. He made the Warriors, and Steve Kerr was like the icing on the cake. That's what I tried to tell him.
Steve Kerr inherited every player on that team.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're going to tell me Steve Kerr. We're talking about Steve Kerr. Made yes. Steph Curry an elite player in 2 years.
No.
Okay.
No. And then you should tell me that Luke Walton was an amazing coach. I was like, you can have an amazing season with the Warriors if you weren't even Luke Walton.
I'm not trying to diminish. I think Steve Kerr is a good coach. I think Luke Walton is going to be a good coach. But I'm just saying, like, for somebody to say that Mark Jackson was nothing, but like,
I have to give Luke Walton props because even though he did coach the Warriors, he still went undefeated. Know what I'm saying? He still had to make some late game calls. They had a couple overtime games in that stretch. So he still had to make some plays.
You have to set your rotation. You have to get the right matchups. I mean,
he had injury. Luke Walton had issues with Klay Thompson was
Harrison
early in the season and Harrison Barnes.
But wasn't Kerr giving him information from the booth too?
Well, obviously, he's going to give him some information, but he wasn't at the games.
Yeah, Kerr wasn't at the games. It wasn't like he was on a headset. Like, okay,
true.
Okay, no,
Kerr was there for practice the whole time. Kerr was there for practices. That's it.
And he wasn't even there for practices until like a month into the season because his situation was so bad that he wasn't even at practice. He wasn't at the facility. He was just at home.
He could barely walk.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like the coaching does matter, but like. It's not Kerr that all of a sudden made Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green into all-stars. Now, he might have helped, but I don't think it's just him alone that made them that good.
It wasn't the foundation.
They went from a non-playoff team to like a 50-game winner within a year under Mark Jackson.
I love Mark Jackson.
They got better every
He's a great coach.
They got better every year under Mark Jackson. So
I mean, what helps them is having a guy like Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr come in. They were point guard. They were small, so they know how to like run the positions where their best players are at, the guards.
Yeah. I think that's gonna wrap up this show. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We will have this live podcast. Will be on our YouTube channel later on this evening. And we'll be up on our Twitter at CenterCourt_NBA. You can follow all of us on Twitter as well. At Corey Guns is myself. At C Burgles is Crisper. At Mills is LeeRoy. That will also be in the YouTube description below this video. We will be back next week at 11:30 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Burger, LeeRoy, pleasure as always.
Yes.